We all know about the Chernobyl disaster. The accident happened on April 26, 1986 at about 1:24 a.m. An accident occurred in the fourth reactor, caused by a catastrophic increase in power, which led to core explosions and open fires. As a result, reactor number 4 was destroyed entirely, and therefore enclosed in a concrete and lead sarcophagus, followed more recently by a large steel confinement shelter to prevent further escape of radioactivity. The total number of liquidators is about 600,000. Now let's discuss the Zaporozhye nuclear power plant. It was built by the Soviet Union near the city of Enerhodar, on the southern shore of the Kakhovka Reservoir on the Dnieper River. It is the largest nuclear power plant in Europe and among the 10 largest in the world. The plant generates nearly half of the country's electricity derived from nuclear power, and more than a fifth of total electricity generated in Ukraine. In this image of the Zaporozhye NPP from the Landsat 9 satellite, you can see the location of the main objects. And now let's see what happened to the station after the start of the war. Russian troops have approached Energodar and are moving towards the checkpoint of the city. Employees of the nuclear power plant took to the road so as not to miss the Russian army. Andrei Tuz, a spokesman for the Zaporozhye NPP press service. We proved that ZNPP and the city are under reliable protection. Residents will not let them into the city for a single step. They heard and went to prove to their leadership. The next meeting is at 15:00 at the same place. But everything can change at any moment. Be prepared now, let's go home, said Energodar Mayor Dmitry Orlov. At 11:28 p.m. local time, a column of 10 Russian armored vehicles and 2 tanks approached the power plant. Fighting commenced at 12:48 a.m. on the 4th of March when Ukraine forces fired anti-tank missiles. Russian forces responded with a variety of weapons, including rocket-propelled grenades. During approximately 2 hours of heavy combat, a fire broke out in a training facility outside the main complex, which was extinguished by 6:20 a.m., though other sections surrounding the plant sustained damage. The fire did not impact reactor safety or any essential equipment. The plant lost 1.3 gigawatts of capacity. It was later learned that a large caliber bullet pierced an outer wall of reactor number 4 and an artillery shell hit a transformer at reactor number 6. IAEA lost access to ZNPP monitoring systems, IAEA Director General Rafael Mariano Grossi. Russia continues nuclear terrorism. Ukraine told the agency that Russia plans to take complete and permanent control of the Zaporozhye nuclear power plant. Director of Rosatom Alexei Likachev, in a conversation with the head of the IAEA, denied such an intention. In 5 months, the Russians turned the largest nuclear power plant in Europe into a military base. The occupiers deployed batteries of heavy artillery there and planted anti-personnel mines. The front line, according to the latest data, is only a few kilometers from the nuclear power plant. This happens for the first time in the history of mankind and threatens with a large-scale catastrophe. On the 19th of July 2022, 3 Ukrainian suicide drones attacked Russian equipment and tents at the site. Ukraine's Ministry of Defense said that 3 Russian occupiers were killed and 12 injured. The Occupation Administration was reported as saying that at least 11 employees were injured. An occupation official said the reactors were not damaged and it was unlikely they were the target. At night, the industrial site of the town of Stepnogorsk was subjected to shelling by the occupier. Electrical substation damage. Currently, there is no electricity supply in all settlements of the community, said Staruk, head of the Zaporozhye Regional Police Department. Last night, enemy shelling was carried out along the pipeline transporting hydrogen to the ZNPP. There was a fire. There is no information about the victims. Also, as a result of damage to power lines, the fourth power unit of the station was disconnected from the power system and transferred to the reserve. Sources report suspicious activity on August 2nd. A column of military trucks arrived at the station. They stopped between the first and second power units. And then, one by one, they began to enter the territory of the turbine hull of the first power unit through the cargo gate. The source reports that there are about 500 Russian soldiers and military equipment at the nuclear power plant, anti-aircraft installations, equipment for radiochemical reconnaissance, and other military vehicles. The G7 countries demand that Russia return the Zaporozhye nuclear power plant under the control of Ukraine and allow IAEA experts to enter the plant. The IAEA said that the shelling of the Russian Federation on August 5 and 6 violated almost all 7 indispensable components of nuclear safety at the Zaporozhye nuclear power plant. On the 11th of August, the plant was shelled several times, including near where radioactive materials were stored. Ukraine said that Russia did the shelling, while Russian officials said that Ukraine did it. "42 countries of the world called on the Russian Federation to withdraw its military from the territory of the ZNPP. On the 19th of August, Russia agreed to allow IAEA inspectors access to the Zaporozhye plant from Ukrainian-held territory, after a phone call between the President of France, Emmanuel Macron, and Russian President, Vladimir Putin. A temporary ceasefire around the plant still needed to be agreed for the inspection. Russia reported that 12 attacks with over 50 artillery shells explosions had been recorded at the plant and the staff town of Energodar by the 18th of August. Shelling hit coal ash dumps at the neighboring coal-fired power station on the 23rd of August, and ash was on fire by the 25th of August. The 750 kV transmission line to the Dniprovska substation, which was the only one of the 4 750 kV transmission lines that had not yet been damaged and cut by military action, passes over the ash dumps. At 12:12 p.m. on the 25th of August, the line cut off due to the fire below, disconnecting the plant and its 2 operating reactors from the national grid for the first time since it started operating in 1985. In response, Reactor 5's backup generators and coolant pumps started up, and Reactor 6 reduced generation. Incoming power was still available via the 330 kV line to the substation at the coal-fired station, so the diesel generators were not essential for cooling reactor cores and spent fuel pools. Damage to the water supply line at the nuclear power plant. 1 reactor was restarted during the day, and the other in the evening, resuming the supply of electricity to the grid. On the 29th of August 2022, an IAEA team led by Rafael Grossi went to investigate the plant. Liddy Everett and Massimo Aparo were also in the leadership team. No leaks had been reported at the plant before their arrival, but shelling had occurred days before. Photos of damages at ZNPP appeared. The roof of the ZNPP special building, where nuclear fuel is stored, was pierced. This morning, the IAEA mission left Kyiv in a convoy of cars in the direction of the Zaporozhye nuclear power plant. The head of the mission, Rafael Grossi, said that the mission would spend a couple of days at the ZNPP. A group of Russian attack helicopters K-52 worked over Energodar, striking residential areas, Ukrainian intelligence. IAEA mission delayed for 3 hours and is negotiating with the Ukrainian military in order to get to the ZNPP, Reuters. Energodom confirmed the arrival of the IAEA at the ZNPP territory. Russian technology, which is not at the nuclear power plant. The IAEA will maintain a permanent presence at the Zaporozhye NPP. This was stated by IAEA Director General Rafael Grossi. He noted that he had completed the first tour of the ZNPP visit, during which the IAEA mission saw the main things. At the moment, there is little information, since the occupiers did not let the Ukrainian and foreign press into the territory of the nuclear power plant. The accident at the Zaporozhye nuclear power plant could be a disaster for Ukraine, but not for Europe. Politico. According to experts, the consequences of Russian shelling under worst-case scenarios will affect only Ukrainian residents living within a radius of 30 kilometers around the station. This is thanks to the 10-meter concrete walls that protect the reactors. Only a flurry of targeted bombardments can break through such protection. A strike on nuclear fuel storage sites will also not be very effective, since the release of radioactive materials will spread only within a radius of 10 to 20 km. Subscribe to the channel. There will be a lot of news. See you soon.